Listen to me. I don't care how talented you are. I don't care what family you come from. I don't care if you grew up with everything or with nothing. You hear what I'm saying? Talent is cute. Connections are nice, but work is the separator. You got to make a decision right now, right here, that from this day forward, you're going to outwork every single person in the room. You might not be the smartest, you might not be the fastest, you might not be the strongest, but if they mess around and put you on the same track, in the same field, in the same grind, they gonna feel you. See, the grind don't care about your excuses. The grind don't care if you're tired. The grind don't care about your feelings. You feel like quitting? Good. That means you're doing something right. That means you push into a place most people don't even want to think about. While they sleeping, you working. While they partying, you grinding. While they posting pics talking about living their best life, you building yours. You sacrificing. You saying no to the club so you can say yes to your future. You saying no to comfort so you can say yes to legacy. Let me tell you something about fair. Life ain't fair. You want fair? Go to the county fair. Life gives you what you're willing to grind for. Life pays out to the ones who refuse to be outworked. You can't be asking for success while giving average effort. That's not how this works. People want the results, but they don't want the work. They want the shine, but they don't want the struggle. They want the praise, but they don't want the pain. But you different. You're not here to be average. You're not here to blend in. You're here to take over. So here's the deal. You want to make something of yourself? You want that dream, that business, that body, that life? Then you better wake up every single day with one thought. Nobody will outwork me. Not today, not ever. Because the truth is, work ethic is the great equalizer. You can beat me with skill, you can beat me with looks, you can beat me with privilege, but you will not beat me with grind. So go ahead, lace them up, clock in, show up, stay late, put in those unseen hours, bleed for it, cry for it, sweat for it, because one day while they still talking about it, you'll be living it. You'll be walking into the life they only dream about. Why? Because you outworked everyone. Outwork talent every time. It sounds simple, but it's one of the most powerful principles in the game. Because here's the truth. Talent without work is wasted potential. It's like having a Ferrari with no gas. Looks good, sounds good, but it's not going anywhere. Meanwhile, somebody with half the horsepower but a full tank of grind, they're moving, they're making progress, they're climbing, they're winning. See, we live in a world that glorifies talent. People love prodigies. They love the natural. They love the stories of someone who just had it. But the people who rise to the top and stay there, they're not the ones relying on talent. They're the ones who show up before everyone else and leave after every. They're the ones who master the basics, who repeat the same drill thousands of times until it's second nature. They outwork everybody around them, even the ones who were born for it. You can't control how talented you are, but you can control your grind. You can't choose your genetics, but you can choose your work ethic. And in the real world, where results matter more than potential, the grinder eats first. The grinder shows up early, stays locked in, studies the craft, sharpens every edge until there's nothing left but precision. The grinder doesn't ask for it to be easier, the grinder gets tougher. And the thing about talent is, it makes people lazy. People with natural gifts start to think they don't need to push. They get comfortable. They believe the hype. They think they can coast on what came easy. But talent has a ceiling. Raw ability can only take you so far before it starts asking questions like, how disciplined are you? How bad do you want it when it stops being fun? Are you willing to hurt for it, to struggle for it, to show up even when nobody's watching? Because that's when talent starts fading and the grinder arises. That's why you can't be intimidated by someone's gifts. You can't look at them and say, they're better than me. No, you say they might be ahead of me today, but I'm coming for everything they don't want to work for. That's the attitude. That's the mindset. Outwork them, outlast them, outfight them. You don't need to be born with it. You just need to be hungry for it. Look at the greats in any field, sports, business, music, anything. The ones who lasted, the ones who became legends, they weren't always the most talented. They were the ones in the gym when the lights were off, the ones studying film when everybody else was asleep, the ones turning every no into a new level of fire. They didn't cry about what they didn't have. They went all in with what they did have, and they worked like their life depended on it. You might not have had the same start as somebody else. You might not have the same opportunities, the same network, the same natural abilities, but that's not an excuse. That's your advantage. Because when you have to grind for everything, you learn to fight. You learn to push past comfort, past average, past fear. You build something unshakable, not just success, but character. And that's what lasts. Hard work beats talent when talent refuses to work every time. Let them talk. Let them sleep. Let them underestimate you. You keep your head down and your hustle up. You stay focused on your lane. You build your reps. You sharpen your edge. You develop discipline so strong that it becomes who you are, not just something you do when you feel like it, but something you do because it's in your blood. People will say you're obsessed. They'll say you're doing too much, that you're going too hard. But those are the voices of average, the ones who gave up on their own greatness. You don't need approval. You don't need validation. You need the work. You need the reps. You need the long nights, the early mornings, the boring drills that nobody wants to do. That's how you pass them. Not in one big moment, but inch by inch, hour by hour, one rep at a time. They won't even see you coming. They'll be looking at their own talent in the mirror, thinking they've got it locked in, while you're behind the scenes stacking brick after brick. And by the time they wake up, it's too late. You're already ahead. You already passed them because you made the decision they were too soft to make. You decided to outwork everyone. Grind when others rest. That's the difference maker. That's where separation happens. Everybody wants success, but not everybody is willing to pay for it with time, energy, and discomfort. When most people are looking for an excuse to take a break, you've got to be looking for a reason to push harder. It's in those quiet hours, those early mornings, those late nights when nobody's watching, nobody's clapping, and nobody's checking in. That's where greatness is built. It's easy to work when the crowd is cheering. It's easy to show up when the motivation is high and the results are visible. But the real ones, they grind when the lights are off. They grind when it's raining. They grind when they're tired, when they're frustrated, when nothing is going right. Because they understand that rest is earned, not given. And until the goal is reached, until the mission is accomplished, the work doesn't stop. While they're scrolling, you're scripting. While they're sleeping, you're studying. While they're chilling, you're chasing. You don't need to keep up with the world's pace. You need to set your own. And your pace should scare people. It should make people uncomfortable. They should look at your discipline and feel lazy. They should hear about your schedule and second guess their own ambition. That's what grinding when others rest looks like. You don't become elite by doing what everybody else does. You don't get to the top by following the average routine. You get there by doing the extra rep, taking the extra hour, stretching the limits of your discipline. You got to be willing to go places others won't. Push past the line they call enough. Push past the limits they accepted. You don't stop because you're tired. You stop when the work is done. When others say, I've done enough today, you ask, what else can I do? When they say, I need a break, you say, I need to build. That's the mindset. That's the grind. Not emotional, not reactive, just locked in. Grinding is not about being motivated. It's about being committed. Motivation fades. It's weak. It comes and goes. But commitment, that doesn't care how you feel. It doesn't need perfect conditions. It just shows up over and over again until the job is done. There will be days when your body aches, when your mind is foggy, when everything in you says, take it easy. And that's when you level up. That's when you say, no, not now, not today. Because if you give in now, you build a habit of quitting, and quitting becomes a pattern. Patterns become your life. And if you want a life of greatness, then you've got to practice greatness daily. Not when it's easy, not when it's fun, but especially when it's hard. The grind is lonely. Let's be real. Most people won't get it. They'll tell you to slow down. They'll tell you to enjoy life. But what they really mean is be like us, settle like us, stop dreaming like us. But you didn't come this far to fit in. You didn't put in the hours just to walk away with regret. You grind now so that later you can live in a way most people can't even imagine. You sacrifice sleep today to wake up to success tomorrow. You sacrifice comfort now to live in freedom later. People who rest without putting in the work don't understand what real satisfaction feels like. They don't know what it means to lay their head down at night exhausted, because when you grind for something bigger than you, when you push for a purpose, for a vision, for a future you believe in, there's no better feeling than knowing you gave it everything. And you've got to understand, rest isn't just about sleep. Rest is a mindset. Some people are wide awake, but still resting. They're resting on their potential, resting on their reputation, resting on what they did last year, last month, last week. You've got to stay hungry. You've got to grind like you're broke, like you've got nothing to fall back on. Because when you grind like that, you become dangerous. You become relentless. While they're taking breaks, you're taking ground. While they're coasting, you're climbing. And when the time comes to show results, when it's time to cash in on all the hours, all the sweat, all the pain, you won't have to talk. Your work will speak. Your consistency will scream. Your grind will echo in rooms your name hasn't even reached yet. Sacrifice comfort for legacy. That's the cost. That's the price tag on greatness. Everybody wants to be remembered, but nobody wants to give up what feels good right now. People say they want to leave a legacy, but they keep choosing sleep over discipline, pleasure over purpose, comfort over calling. You can't have it both ways. You either live easy and die forgotten, or you live with sacrifice and leave something that outlives you. Comfort is the killer of potential. It whispers in your ear that you've done enough. It tells you to slow down, to relax, to take it easy. But legacy doesn't respond to comfort. Legacy responds to sacrifice. You don't build greatness on what feels good. You build it on what costs you, on what stretches you, on what hurts sometimes. Because the things that are built to last are never built in convenience. Sacrifice comfort for legacy. That's the cost. That's the price tag on greatness. Everybody wants to be remembered, but nobody wants to give up what feels good right now. People say they want to leave a legacy, but they keep choosing sleep over discipline, pleasure over purpose, comfort over calling. You can't have it both ways. You either live easy and die forgotten, or you live with sacrifice and leave something that outlives you. Comfort is the killer of potential. It whispers in your ear that you've done enough. It tells you to slow down, to relax, to take it easy. But legacy doesn't respond to comfort. Legacy responds to sacrifice. You don't build greatness on what feels good. You build it on what costs you, on what stretches you, on what hurts sometimes. Because the things that are built to last are never built in convenience. They're built in pressure. They're built in fire. They're built in moments where most people would fold, but you decide to rise. You've got to give up temporary pleasure for permanent impact. You've got to stop chasing what's fun and start chasing what matters. There are going to be days where you miss out, days where you're grinding while others are laughing, nights where you're studying while others are partying. You'll have to walk away from distractions, distance yourself from average, and say no to things that look good right now, but won't mean anything in 5 years, because when you're building a legacy, the short term doesn't guide your decisions. The long term does. Most people are addicted to comfort. They make choices based on what's easy, not what's right. They don't want to feel pain, so they stay small. They don't want to struggle, so they stay average. But you weren't built for comfort. You were built for purpose. And purpose comes with pressure. Purpose comes with pain, but purpose also comes with power. When you lock into your why, your real reason for doing this, you start moving different. You stop needing outside validation. You stop needing everything to feel good, because you understand that everything great costs something. You've got to be willing to pay that price. You've got to wake up every day and say, I'm not doing this for today. I'm doing this for the name that comes after mine. I'm doing this for my last name, for my future, for the generation after me. That's legacy thinking. That's a mindset that doesn't quit when it gets hard. It pushes harder. It sacrifices more. It says no to now so it can say yes to forever. You've got to be willing to go broke for your dream, willing to be misunderstood, willing to stand alone. Legacy demands a different level of discipline. It's not about what you want right now. It's about what you're willing to endure. Are you willing to be uncomfortable for years so you can be unforgettable forever? Are you willing to lose people, miss moments, and grind through the silence with no applause? That's what it takes. That's what most people won't do. And here's the thing, comfort always tries to come back. Just when you're gaining momentum, it shows up again. It tries to lure you back to average, back to habits that don't serve you, back to excuses. And you've got to fight that urge. You've got to remind yourself why you started. You've got to ask yourself, is this helping me build my legacy, or is this just feeding my comfort? And if it's comfort, you cut it. If it's holding you back, you walk away. You can't build something eternal if you're stuck living for the moment. You can't leave impact if you're constantly choosing easy. Legacy is built in the decisions nobody sees, in the hours nobody tracks, in the sacrifices nobody applauds. It's built in consistency, in discipline, in self-control. The world may never see those moments, but those are the bricks you're laying every single day. And brick by brick, sacrifice by sacrifice, you're building something that can't be erased. People will question you. They'll ask why you're doing so much, why you're always working, why you don't just relax. And the answer is simple. You're not working for now. You're working for next, for after, for what comes when you're no longer here. Because that's what legacy is. It's what lives beyond you. It's what people remember when you're gone. And the only way to create it is to give up the temporary for the timeless. No excuses, only execution. That's the code. That's the standard. You either get it done or you don't. It's black and white. There's no middle ground, no halfway, no soft spots for maybe or kind of. Excuses are what average people use to make sense of quitting. Excuses are the language of the almost, the never made it, the ones who gave up and needed a story to tell themselves why it was okay. But the ones who make it, the ones who rise, they don't have time for excuses. They move, they act, they execute. Everybody's got a story. Everybody's got pain. Everybody's been through something. The difference isn't who had it harder. The difference is who kept going when it was hard. You've got to stop thinking your problems give you permission to stop. They don't. Life's not fair. Nobody cares. That's the truth. What matters is what you do with the hand you've been dealt. You can cry about it, or you can build with it. You can complain or you can conquer. You can explain why you failed or you can figure out how to win anyway. You don't get points for almost. You don't get rewarded for having potential. You get rewarded for results. You don't have to be the smartest. You don't have to be the most talented. You just have to be relentless. Show up, show out, handle business every single day. You're not waiting on motivation. You're not waiting for someone to believe in you. You're not waiting for perfect timing. You're not waiting at all. Because winners don't wait. They work. The moment you stop making excuses is the moment you take control. That's when the shift happens. That's when you start moving with power. When your mindset says, no matter what, I'm going to figure it out, doors open, paths appear. But as long as you blame it something or someone else, you're stuck. You're giving your power away. You're telling the world that you're not in charge of your own future. And that's not who you are. You were built to bow down. You were built to break through. Excuses sound good to people who never wanted in the first place. They sound reasonable, logical, even justified, but none of that changes the fact that you're still in the same place, stuck, watching someone else live the life you could have had. The world doesn't care why you didn't show up. It only notices that you didn't. And the ones who do show up, even when they're hurting, even when they're tired, even when the odds are against them, those are the ones who rise. You've got to eliminate the option to quit. You've got to burn the plan B. You've got to erase the backup plan. If you always give yourself a way out, you'll never push to your true limits. Execution requires commitment, not interest, not curiosity, commitment. You don't say, I'll try. You say, I will. You don't say, let's see what happens. You say, watch me make it happen. That's execution. It's a mindset. It's an identity. It's not what you do, it's who you are. And execution doesn't mean perfection. It means persistence. It means doing it even if you mess up, even if you fail, even if it's ugly. Excuses will tell you to wait until it's perfect. Execution tells you to take the shot and fix it as you go. You learn more by doing than you ever will by planning. The greatest breakthroughs don't come from waiting. They come from working, from putting your hands on the task and refusing to let go until it's done. When you make the decision to live by execution, you become unstoppable. You don't need permission. You don't need praise. You don't need to feel ready. You just move. You keep moving through pain, through fear, through doubt, because you know that action kills fear. Movement creates momentum, and momentum is the beginning of mastery. So when the voice in your head starts giving you all the reasons why you should stop, why you can't, why it won't work, you answer with action. You silence excuses with effort. You respond with discipline. You drown out the noise by doing the work. No matter what happened yesterday, no matter who let you down, no matter what went wrong, you own your next move. You own your responsibility. You own your outcome. That's execution. That's what separates the dreamers from the doers. That's what builds greatness. Work ethic is the ultimate equalizer. It doesn't matter where you started, who your parents were, what school you went to, or what your background looks like. You might not have the money, the connections, the perfect conditions, or the natural talent. But if you've got work ethic, you've got a weapon more powerful than all of that. Because work ethic doesn't care about circumstances. It doesn't care about odds. It just shows up. It puts in the reps. It does the job every single day, with or without applause. Some people are born into advantages. Some people are gifted, fast, smart, naturally skilled. But if they don't work, none of that means anything. Talent without work ethic is wasted. It's soft. It's temporary. It burns out fast. But work ethic, that's the thing that keeps pushing when everyone else stops. That's what wakes you up early and keeps you up late. That's what makes you go again after failure. That's what makes you stand up after life knocks you down. It doesn't guarantee you'll win right away, but it guarantees you'll never be outworked. Work ethic is what evens the playing field. You can be behind in every category, but if you're willing to grind harder than everyone else, you start catching up. You start closing gaps. And eventually, you pass people who had every reason to beat you because they stopped working and you didn't. They got comfortable. You stayed committed. They waited for motivation. You moved with discipline. They coasted on what they had. You built what you needed. That's what separates those who rise from those who settle. Most people won't outwork you. They'll say they want it, but they won't grind for it. They'll talk about goals, but they won't stay up late to chase them. They'll post about the grind, but when nobody's watching, they're not doing the work. And that's where you win. That's where you create separation. Not in front of the crowd, not in front of the camera, in silence, in sweat, in those hours when it's just you and the grind and nobody's handing out trophies. That's when you build something real. Work ethic is not sexy. It's not glamorous. It's not made for Instagram. It's gritty. It's repetitive. It's waking up when you don't feel like it. It's staying late when you'd rather quit. It's choosing discipline over distraction. It's saying no to things that feel good now so you can build something that feels great later. It's doing the job when it's boring, when it's thankless, when nobody understands why you're pushing so hard. It's the daily decision to keep going, to keep building, to keep showing up. And when you've got that kind of work ethic, you become dangerous because nobody can stop you but you. You stop waiting for the right time. You stop needing perfect situations. You just go, you move, you build, you improve. You become so consistent that even when life hits, you don't fall off. You've trained yourself to keep showing up, to keep executing, to keep growing. And eventually that separates you. Eventually that puts you in rooms others only dream of. Work ethic builds confidence. When you know how much work you've put in, you don't have to fake belief. You've got receipts, you've got hours behind you, you've got pain behind you, you've got discipline in your foundation. You know what you've sacrificed, what you've endured, and what you've earned. So when the moment comes, when the opportunity shows up, you don't shrink, you rise because you know you deserve to be there. Not because someone gave it to you, but because you worked for it, because you earned it. There's always going to be someone more talented, someone stronger, someone with better resources, but they don't determine your outcome. Your work does, your grind does. Your ability to wake up one more time, to push one more hour, to fight through one more challenge, that's what matters. That's what keeps you moving forward when most people turn back. And if you do it long enough, consistent enough, focused enough, you become a force that no one can deny. People love to point fingers. They blame the system, the timing, the competition, the conditions, but none of that changes if you don't change your effort. None of that shifts until you raise your standard. And the standard has to be this. No matter what's against me, I will outwork it. I will outlast it. I will push until I win. That's not talent. That's not luck. That's work ethic. And that's the one thing nobody can take from you.